Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion and the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Over there, you will find a description of the day's astrology as I have spelled it out here. Here, I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, and then I will play another card that, in the context of today's astrology, may give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Ten of Wands, and it's here because it corresponds in astrology with the final 10 days or the third decan of the sun's transit here in the land of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a fire sign, and Wands in Tarot reflect fire element symbolism. And fire element symbolism is really about creative drive, about the passion that gets you moving, that will to act, okay? The willpower, the fuel you have to burn to get something done, and sort of the pride you take in your work and the pride that we can take also in looking back on what we've achieved. And so we come to the Ten of Wands, and this is a point at the end of a story, okay? The numbers go 2 through 10, and then from there you're either going on up to the page, which is a royal card, or you're going back to 2, you're going to start over. So here we are. If you think of all the wands as achievements that you have unlocked, goals that you have met in order to get to the place that you're going, that you're here, that you've come to, then we see this person is sort of burdened with the level of responsibility and the level of reckoning with what it is that they have done at this point. They've taken on a lot. They've done very much. They've reached their goal, but they may not be able to see that they've reached their goal because they're so focused on the achievements and the work, right? So it's time to think about putting the sticks down. It's time to think about letting go of some of the responsibilities and obligations that came with this journey, so that we can sort of stand up, stretch our back, take a deep breath, look around us, and find out what is next. Okay, so if there are responsibilities that need to be passed on at this time, if there is simply a burden that needs to be laid down, then now is the time to do it, because we are moving on up from here, friends. And with that said, I'm going to turn this card. Oh, that's so funny. All right. So the Two of Wands has come up a couple times in the last couple of days, and I think it came up both times when I had to draw an extra card because a repeat card kept coming up. So here's our new repeat card, Two of Wands. It's our new friend. And really, I was just talking about how we go from 10 back to 2. We go from the end to the beginning of a new cycle. So, put all of these wands, this whole set of achievements, put them under one bracket and say that is one achievement, right? This person's got a couple of bigger achievements under their belts. They're looking back on what they've done, what they've been able to create so far, sort of beholding in the world what it is that they can affect, what they can do with the materials and the experience they have at their back, and making plans for the future. So that's what the Two of Wands is about, is making plans for the future. So, that to me right now is very, very Mercury in Capricorn vibes. Mercury is sitting in Capricorn, and that's funny because that's not fire element symbolism at all. Mars is retrograde in Gemini, and you see the two standing lines there and the two standing lines there. So that's really very much about, how we're going to take action when we're under the influence of a vibe that wants us to share and sort of calculate and come up with creative ways and try things a couple of different ways, and where our initiative is being slowed down. And certainly our initiative may have been slowed down if we've just come to an end of cycle and stopped to take a break. And now, we're coming to this point where we need to start planning for the future it is a good time to sort of reassess the actions you've been taking and to move forward from a point of having reassessed that, which will come up in January when Mars comes out of retrograde. But also, you know, Mercury in Capricorn gives me this Two of Wands vibe, because Mercury is very much about the thoughts, plans, and communications. It's very much about sort of how we go about our daily lives, but also just the way we use our words and the way we sort of cogitate where we've been, what we've done, and what we're doing next. And it's in Capricorn, so it's about making plans. It's about having big goals and knowing that if we do the work, we will achieve them. And Mars is not averse to work, especially at this time when it has been trying to Saturn for so long. We've been, you know, all the work that we've been doing for ourselves, hopefully, has been very auspicious and well placed for us. You know, or we've been well placed in that work, you know. So, you know, the work is still coming up, and we're still going to have to do it. Of course, Mars is retrograde, so things are slowed down a little bit, but that's okay. We have this ability to really plan for the future while we're in this moment of pause, of reassessing the way we move forward. The way we take, you know, sort of rein in these fiery impulses of restlessness, of creative drive, of passion, of willpower, while we sort of rein them in and reassess how we use them. Mercury is here to help us to make a plan that's inspired to bring us into the future in a stable and safe sort of way. Because this was a repeat card, I'm going to go ahead. Okay, so Five of Wands, more fire element and energy on the page. And this just says, you know, be aware of a tendency to be tempted to stop and fight, or to try to establish your dominance, or to try to establish that, like, oh, my experience is worth so much more than this next person's experience, or my ideas or my passion or my will to act or the plans I'm making are superior to the plans that all these other people are making. So, you know, be aware of the impulse to sort of get slowed down on your path while you are, you know, while you're sort of fighting with other people over whether you did it right, how it's supposed to be done, whether their ideas are right, whether your ideas are right. Okay, this is not a picture of people moving, you know, forward in a passionate way along their path. This is a picture of people sort of passionately defending their own ideas and their own paths against other people who have their own ideas and their own paths. Okay, so let's just be careful about that fight and that fracas. If you can avoid it, if you can stand aside from it, if you can move on ahead with your plans without getting stopped in this way, please go ahead and do that. And it does speak again to that Mars and Gemini feeling that we just you know, we want to make progress, but we have to collaborate. We want to make progress, but we have to listen to other people, and we have to be thinking about different ways to make progress than the ones that we've been using. Because if your regular willpower, will to act, your regular way of moving forward, you know, your regular way of taking advantage of your restlessness is getting you into these fights and fracases all the time, then that's not progress. Okay, that's why we take Mars in retrograde, to sort of reassess the way we go about taking those actions, so that in the future we can get more directly from the 2 to the 10 without stopping along the way to argue with other people, right? So these are all stages on the journey. Right now, this is where we are. This is where we're going back to. We just want to be aware of this tendency to stop and argue with people. Is it necessary? If it's not necessary, let's just not do it. Let's just bypass it, okay? All right, I believe that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today.